Okay, so hopefully Before You Accuse Me is coming along, and it's not proving to be too difficult for you. Just take your time with it and play it slowly is the important thing. And once you have it as you would like it, in terms of the sound of it and you're getting all the chords to sound correctly, then you can increase the metronome a little bit until it gets to a kind of pace that you would like. Alternatively, it's always a great idea to put the CD on or have a listen to the track on YouTube and try and play along with it to see how close you are in terms of timing and, things like that. Okay, now, those three kind of figures that we've looked at, one being two being three being those three figures give us an enormous scope for playing blues tunes, okay? Because there are many, many, many tracks that have been written in the key of E major using those basic shapes, some very, very famous songs, which we're going to go through because I think when you're learning guitar, one of the important things is that you're building a repertoire as you go. Ultimately, everybody wants to kind of play songs, and if you can learn some tips and tricks thrown in amongst all of that, then all the better. That will help you kind of fill in some of the gaps. It may just be like we've looked at the intro and things like that. These little figures that link all these chords together are really invaluable. So they're a very important part of our learning as well. Now, as I say, once you've learned that kind of Before You Accuse Me and those three figures, which I'm sure you're probably already coming to terms with now, it opens the doors for us to play many, many tunes. So let's kind of move on and play another one, which is called How Long Blues. Eric Clapton has played this one also. If you'd like to check that out on YouTube, you can have a listen. And as I say, it's called How Long Blues. And it uses exactly the same chords. So we've got our E, and we've got our A, and we have our B or our B7. Okay? Now it has a kind of... Well, let me show you a different intro that you can play, which is very, very similar to the one that we used in Before You Accuse Me, okay? So I'd like you to place your first finger on the second string of the third fret, and I would like you to place your second finger on the third string of the fourth fret, and we're just playing the bottom three strings, okay? And we're going to go from that position down and down. Just like we did with the Before You Accuse Me intro. Okay, so it starts there. And it ends in the same place, okay? Third string, first fret. And we can, if we want to, put in our little bass run, which is exactly the same as what we did on Before You Accuse Me. Okay, so as you can hear, it's very similar, but it's a little bit different because this first finger is here, and on our previous one it was just these two. Okay, so now it's this, and as I say, we play those bottom three strings. So that's an alternative intro that you can play for this. And then we're into the verse, which is how long, baby, how long has that evil train been gone? How long, how long, baby, how long? How long, baby, how long has that evil train been gone? How long, how long? Baby, how long? Okay, so it's very, very similar. It's just that the chord changes fall in slightly different places. And really, that's the only difference with many of the songs which are written in this key. They just change in slightly different places, or some of them may change in the same place. Okay, so as you can hear, that's a very, very similar feel to what we've just looked at with Before You Accuse Me. Okay, now, so for me to just talk you through what's happening there, we're using our same E position, only we're playing like a... And the important thing to note here is that we're using this dampening technique, which I talked about earlier, okay? We're going to try that just so we can start making, you know, a kind of start with that dampening and trying to get a feel for how we can do that, okay? So as I say, it starts in E and it's... So it's off and on and off and on and off and on and off and on. Okay, so it's very, very similar to what we've been looking at. So what we'll do this time, I mean, once it goes to the A, it's the same. But you see, you notice with this dampening, we're killing the sound. Now that's not to say, okay, that you can't play it like... Okay, if you're more comfortable doing that, then do that. But try and dedicate a little bit of time to getting this sound, because it's used a lot in blues, this kind of... this deadening sound, okay? So when we come to the B, we have our 2-note B, or we can have a B7. That's like a partial B7, okay? Because this little pinky isn't on the first string of the 2nd fret. So if we're going to play a partial B7, it's important to note that we just play the 5th, the 4th, and the 3rd. Okay? You can play the 2nd as well, but I tend to play the 5th, 4th, and 3rd. Okay, so as I say, often a lot of the variations are around the B. So we have our 2-note B, or our B7, or our full half bar B, or our open B. Lots of options there for you, okay? So this time I'm going to put the letters up above, and we're going to go round a couple of verses and see how we go with that, okay? So if you're ready, we'll start with an intro, and it's going to be after 4 bottom 3 strings, remember? 1, 2, 3, 4. Long, baby, how long has that evil dream been gone? How long? How long? Baby, how long? How long? Baby, how long has that evening dream been gone? How long? How long? Baby, how long? One more time. How long? Baby, how long has that evening dream been gone? How long? How long? Baby, how long? Okay, so hopefully you get the idea. Another song for you. Very straightforward, very, very similar to the Before You Accuse Me. Now, like I say, for your part, you need to have a listen to the arrangement, to the record, to the CD, whatever it is, and play along with them. And I mean, what I often say, and what I've often do myself, even to this day, you know, when I'm learning something, I will always write down the arrangement, because there's something about picking up a pen and paper and writing it down that makes the arrangement sink in. Okay, so that would be my advice. You don't have to do that, but I would advise that you do, because it's a very helpful exercise. So now you can kind of see how many of these blues share a commonality. Okay, they're very, very similar in many ways, and this applies to lots and lots of tracks. So, we're going to work our way through some of these tracks so you can build this repertoire of blues songs. Okay, so moving on to the next one.